You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Hi, everyone. Debbie Laux here to share more of Monty's concepts and wisdom about the trust and insight we can learn from horses and apply to our own lives. Welcome to the second episode reading from Horse Sense for People, a book that's all about bridging the gap between human and horse and discovering how their silent lessons can make us better leaders, listeners, and partners. In this section, Monty reminds us that life isn't just about 9 to 5, our work days and daily grind. Instead, he encourages us to turn our focus to the 5 to 9, those personal hours filled with relationships and family and the values that truly define us. He remains optimistic that by choosing cooperation over domination and by working with the horse's nature rather than against it, we can change the way horses are trained forever and maybe change ourselves in the process. You can catch Horsemanship Radio on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and we're thrilled to have you with us. So let's dive in and continue this journey through Horse Sense for People.
Join Up, The Journey. When as a boy, I first watched wild horses out on the Nevada desert, I was immediately surprised by the fact that there was a clearly defined language that they used. I was further surprised by the realization that it was a silent language, one of gestures, much like signing for the deaf. A horse squared up to another, rigid and on point, with eyes directed onto the eyes of his subject, is just saying, "Go away." The positioning of their ears indicates the direction of their attention. Turning to a 45-degree angle is saying, "You are welcome back into the herd." All the many motions and gestures of the horse add up to a sizable dictionary. The horses I work with are usually raw, untrained horses, or remedial horses that have been physically or psychologically abused. I often meet the horse I'm to work with for the first time in a join-up session. Join-up is a consistent set of principles using the horse's own language and designed to let the horse know that he has freedom of choice. I release the horse at the beginning of each session of communication, encouraging him to leave me, therefore exercising his right to flee in order to protect himself. I then encourage him to go away, in essence suggesting that he can do anything he wants. I require him to be responsible for his own actions and the consequences of those actions. I continue to communicate that I will be responsible for my actions too. Over the many years that I've been utilizing Join-Up and developing its potential, I have encountered many interesting and sometimes surprising reactions. Each of these experiences allows me further insight into the power of developing trust. As I go through the process of Join-Up, I am engaging in a dialogue with the horse in exactly the same way I hold a conversation with a person. Our conversation creates that basis of trust. I carefully observe the horse as I work with it, assessing its responses to me and the environment it is now in. People often ask me if horses are capable of such traits as loyalty and trust and care and concern for other species. I am asked at practically every question and answer session during my demonstrations if I believe that a horse possesses a sense of caring regarding people. Many academics inquire of me whether or not I truly believe that there could be an interspecies understanding. My stock answer is that horses live within a social order that is based on the principles of trust, loyalty, and mutual concern. I go on to say that they've taught me that without these attributes, they could never have existed for their 50 million years. I can attest to the fact that breaches of loyalty are far more frequent in the human spectrum than in the equine world. I don't know that any of us will ever be certain about how much horses actually feel a sense of loyalty toward human beings. I'm not sure if anybody will ever know if there is a deep caring or concern on their part for our well-being. I only know what I've experienced with horses, And it is with that background that I bring you a story that, to me, dramatizes these characteristics. The Mustang Mare. I feel it is quite possible that the story that I'm about to relate is one of the most important episodes of interspecies communication ever witnessed. I received a call one day from a lady who had just adopted a Mustang mare from the Bureau of Land Management. The mare had a foal at her side, which was not uncommon in those days. The owner had heard about my methods and wanted her mare started by me. She felt strongly that my non-traumatic approach would enhance the genuine qualities of the Mustang, causing her to be an excellent riding animal for herself and her family. This was the first Mustang I had started since those early days of working with them in Salinas. I advised the lady that she should wait until the foal was 6 or 7 months old and then wean it. Once the mare had settled down, she should bring her to the farm. They duly arrived. The trailer was backed up to the round pen, and out of it charged one of the wildest animals I've ever seen in my whole life. It was a daunting experience to watch this Mustang from the small viewing platform. She was frantically trying to climb out of the pen and kept herself as far away as possible from our side of the pen. Eventually I entered the pen and began to work with her. I went through my procedure, sending her away, which was the first step, and she responded quite well. She gave me the signs I was looking for and was very demonstrative. After about 45 minutes, I could touch her. We were making excellent progress. By the 2-hour mark, I had a halter on her and was leading her around. I could pick up her front feet, but when I tried to pick up her back ones, she resisted ferociously by kicking. Mustangs are often paranoid when it comes to handling their hind legs, and I felt certain that a few days of work would increase her trust. I decided not to force that issue. Sean, my assistant, brought in the saddle, bridle, and saddle pad, placing them in the center of the round pen. While he was doing this, the mare was hovering really close to me at the south side of the pen. Sean left to the north, closing the solid wooden gate behind him. I left the south side of the pen and started to walk towards the equipment, leaving the mare just to the right of me. I took 2 steps from the south wall, and she left me like a rocket. Running as fast as she could, she crashed into the saddle on the ground and started ripping it to shreds with her teeth. Pawing and kicking, she tore at the saddle pad. It was as if I had brought a lion into the middle of the pen. I felt that she thought she was cornered and had to fight this predator for her life. I stood frozen in my tracks near the south wall of the pen.
Tired of juggling brushes, curry combs, and shedding blades? Say hello to HandsonGloves, the all-in-one grooming solution horse lovers swear by. Whether you're currying out winter coats, giving a deep massage, or rinsing down after a ride, HandsonGloves fit like, a glove, and they turn grooming time into bonding time. They're flexible, durable, and they stay on your hands, wet or dry, so your horse stays calm and you stay in control. No slipping, no dropping, no kidding. Groom, bathe, and de-shed all with your hands. Visit HandsonGloves.com today and feel the difference. Your horse will thank you. If you can't come take a class in person, Monty Roberts Online University brings the classroom to you. With over 800 video lessons, Monty teaches you his world-renowned methods: join-up, trailer loading, starting young horses, and solving behavioral challenges, all without violence. Named one of Horse and Hound magazine's top 50 horsemen of all time, Monty shares a lifetime of experience to help you build trust and partnership with your horse. Join the thousands around the world who are transforming their horsemanship, one gentle lesson at a time. Visit MontyRobertsUniversity.com. Because if you listen to your horse will listen to you.
The air was filled with bits and pieces as they flew off the saddle. The effect was terrifying, and at that moment I thought I was the next thing to be on the menu. I started moving around to my right, staying as close as I could to the wall. I moved along as smoothly and rapidly as possible. I had recently had extensive back surgery, so jumping out of the round pen was not an option. I managed to get about halfway around when I saw Sean standing on the viewing platform near the gate, watching me. And at that moment, the mare broke away from the saddle and ran straight at me. My heart almost stopped. I crouched down against the base of the wall and decided the best way to take her on was to ball up in a fetal position, covering my head. She was coming, and having seen what she did to the saddle, I knew it wasn't going to be pretty. I could sense that Sean had jumped down from his perch into the pen right at the gate. I don't think he was too anxious to get near her either. But the mere fact that he came into the pen said a lot for his courage. As I was balled up there on the ground, I saw, out of the corner of my eye, her nose was right against the wall in front of me. She had not attacked me. Her hind feet were brushing against my toes. It was very strange because she was almost in a U shape, wrapping herself around me. Her tail was against the wall on one side, and her nose on the other. I stayed balled up there for a while, and Sean was out of my sight. I saw her look over her shoulder directly at the saddle. As her head came off the wall to view the saddle, she pinned her ears flat back and bared her teeth. I called out, "Sean, wait, don't come forward now." Luckily, she had not seen him, as her attention was fixed on the saddle. He stopped in his tracks, frozen by my urgent command. The mare then made another dive for the saddle, attacking the remaining larger pieces. Like a whirlwind, she suddenly deserted the deadly enemy and resumed her protective stance around me. I realized that this mare was adopting me. She had joined up with me so intensely that in her mind I deserved the same protection as her foe. She was guarding me from this deadly predator that had come into our world. The mare was still lactating, and warm milk began to drip onto my legs. Sean moved into the center of the pen and gathered up the shredded remnants of what had been a saddle and retreated, closed the gate behind him, and went off. Once the potential danger was removed, the mare walked away from me. I got up, stroked her head, and walked around the pen with her. Sean sent for another saddle and returned it to the pen. This time I kept her on the lead while putting the pad, saddle, and bridle on. Sean came in later and rode her with no trouble, finishing up in just over 2.5 hours. The owner actually rode the mare within 2 weeks and was extremely pleased. Later reports reached me that this mare became a wonderful animal for both this lady and her daughter. It was the first Mustang she had adopted, and this experience was so positive that she became president of a Mustang association. The bizarre behavior described in this story has never reoccurred with me, nor have I heard it happening to anybody else. The mare's desire to protect me amplified the potential for close human-to-horse attachment. The mare's body language was there for me to read, but I was confused by the speed of events and perceived only the unfailing aggression with which she attacked the saddle. It took me a long time to realize that this was the act of a mother, to protect what she now considered to be her family. Never before this had I realized the depth of cross-species bonding that join-up creates. A human being, predominantly a fight animal, will quite often act out in violence, even when it's not in his best interest. I feel that most traditional horsemen would have stood their ground to this mare, and wherever possible, would have struck her. Many of the horsemen that I have known in my time would have literally beaten the hell out of her. What a mistake an act of violence would have been at that moment in time. I believe that she would have never again trusted a human under any circumstances. The horse has been our partner in an incredible range of activities, and we must never forget the effort the horse has made to entertain us. Racing, polo, dressage, jumping, rodeo, and every kind of game or competition that you can imagine has been done in one form or another on horseback. At the turn of the 20th century, the horse was our primary vehicle and practically the only power source on the farm. By the mid-1900s, horses were scarcely used in these ways. Yet in the United States, the total horse population at the turn of the 21st century was 3 times larger than it had been 100 years before. How can this be when we don't need them? Perhaps we do need them for our entertainment and our pleasure. But there is far more to Equus than just the enjoyment of all the sports and pastimes with which we associate the horse. We can use his natural existence as a metaphor for our lives today. I once believed it was nothing more than a metaphor, but I have discovered that the horse has many of the same responses and needs as humans. The horse and human have a much closer behavioral tie than I at first considered. The reason horse and human work so well together may be because they share so much in common. It is little wonder that what the horses tell me in the language of Equus, their natural communication system, can be translated directly to the world of humans. The animal at the fight end of the fight-flight spectrum is a predator. The animal at the flight end is preyed upon. Based on this, you can describe humans as predators. But humans can also be passive, nonviolent, and non-aggressive. This curious and perhaps unique mixture of fight and flight, prey and predator, is almost always present in our relationships and communication. Women, in particular, have a great ability to identify with the hunted, and therefore horses. The traditional horse trainer who breaks a horse by tying him up and forcing him to accept saddle, bridle, and rider is a predator. Male predatory behavior is far more common than most people would imagine, and it happens in our apparently enlightened society on a scale that I find difficult to comprehend. In many parts of the world, women are still expected to walk behind their husbands and have few or no rights. Women, in and out of the workplace, are often preyed upon. It is little wonder that women identify with the flight animal. Thousands of the letters sent to me tell a sad story of the continuing existence of abuse of all kinds, predominantly in the home. How long will it take to raise awareness that violence is never the answer?
We hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. If you're eager to learn more and connect with the incredible world of Monty Roberts, we have so much more to share. Beyond our insightful books, you can explore comprehensive courses through our online university. Join us at inspiring events and tap into a wide variety of educational materials. It all starts at montyrobertsuniversity.com/library.